The first empty chair didn't bother me. The second one did. The third made my stomach tighten. By the 10th empty chair, I stopped looking because I already knew they weren't coming. My name is Ethan. I was 31 years old on my wedding day. And every member of my family had decided not to attend. The strange part? Nobody actually said they weren't coming. They simply stopped answering, one by one. My mother claimed she wasn't feeling well. My father had work commitments. My brother suddenly had travel plans. My aunt stopped returning calls. My cousins vanished. Each excuse arrived separately, yet somehow all of them happened during the same weekend. Amazing coincidence, or maybe not. My fiancée, Olivia, noticed before I did. Something feels off. I forced a smile. They'll come. Even as I said it, I wasn't sure. 6 months earlier, my grandfather died. Grandpa William was the only person in the family who never treated me differently. Everyone else had favorites. My brother Ryan was the golden child. Better athlete, more outgoing, more social. My parents adored him. I wasn't disliked. I was simply less important. Over the years, I learned to live with it. Then Grandpa passed away, and everything changed. Because before he died, he updated his will. Nobody knew the details. Not even me. The reading had been delayed. Lawyers, paperwork, probate. The family spent months speculating. Most assumed Ryan would receive the largest share. After all, that's how things always work. Ryan first, everyone else later. 3 weeks before the wedding, my mother called. She sounded strangely nervous. "Have you heard anything about Grandpa's estate?" "No." A long silence followed. Then she asked, "Are you sure?" The question felt odd. At the time, I ignored it. Now I wish I hadn't. Because that conversation marked the beginning of something. Something ugly. 2 weeks before the wedding, Ryan called. That never happened. My brother only called when he needed something. This time was no different. After 10 minutes of small talk, he finally asked, "If Grandpa left you anything significant, you'd share it, right?" I laughed. "What?" He didn't laugh, just asking. The conversation ended shortly afterward, and for the first time, alarm bells started ringing. The wedding day arrived. Beautiful venue, perfect weather, wonderful guests. Everything should have been perfect, except for one thing: my family wasn't there. The ceremony started anyway. Olivia squeezed my hand. I smiled, and somehow we got through it. The vows, the applause, the photographs. The reception, but every time I glanced toward the family section, I saw empty chairs, entire rows of them, and no matter how hard I tried, that hurt. At exactly 9:17 p.m., the ballroom doors opened. Everyone turned. A man entered carrying a leather briefcase. Older, gray suit, serious expression. I recognized him immediately. Mr. Caldwell, Grandpa's attorney. The room fell silent. He approached me, looked around, then asked, "So they really didn't come?" I nodded. His expression darkened. Then he opened the briefcase and removed a sealed envelope. The envelope contained a letter, Grandpa's handwriting. The moment I saw it, my throat tightened. I hadn't seen his handwriting since the funeral. The room became quiet. "Mr. Caldwell nodded. "You should read it." So I did. The first line hit me like a punch. "Ethan, if you're reading this at your wedding, it means I'm already gone." People around me started crying, including Olivia. Then came the next paragraph. And everything changed. Grandpa wrote, "Families reveal who they truly are when money enters the room. Watch carefully." The room grew even quieter. Then, "If your family is absent tonight, I already know why." I froze because somehow he had predicted this, years before it happened. The letter continued. "For decades, I watched people compete for my approval, but only one person ever showed up when there was nothing to gain." Tears blurred my vision, because I knew exactly who he meant. Then Mr. Caldwell stood and made an announcement, one that changed the entire evening. The estate reading had concluded earlier that morning. Nobody knew because confidentiality agreements were in place. Grandpa's final decision had been recorded and executed. The room went silent. Then he revealed the truth. My grandfather had left me control of the family trust. Not Ryan, not my parents, not anyone else, me. A trust valued at approximately $14 million. Gasps echoed across the ballroom. I couldn't breathe. Because I hadn't known either. Suddenly everything made sense. The calls, the questions, the awkward conversations, my family already knew. They had learned before I did, and they assumed I had manipulated Grandpa. So they decided to punish me by boycotting my wedding. The realization hurt, but not for the reason you'd think, because their absence proved something. Grandpa had been right. At 9:46 p.m., my phone started vibrating, then again, and again, and again. 37 missed calls within 20 minutes. My mother, father, Ryan, aunts, uncles, cousins. Everyone suddenly remembered I existed. Interesting timing. I ignored every call. The next morning, Ryan appeared at my hotel. He looked exhausted, angry, desperate, all at once. The first thing he said was, "You should have told us." I laughed. Told you what? The trust. I stared at him, then asked the question that ended the conversation. Would you have come to my wedding if Grandpa left everything to you? Silence. Pure silence, because we both knew the answer. Over the following months, family members reached out constantly. Apologies, excuses, explanations. Most sounded identical. Miscommunication, misunderstanding, confusion. Funny how confusion always arrives after money. Never before. Ending. Almost a year later, my mother asked if we could meet. We sat in a quiet restaurant. After a long silence, she finally said, "We made a mistake." I nodded, "Yes." Tears filled her eyes. Then she asked, "Can you forgive us?" I thought about the empty chairs, the empty tables, the wedding photos, the people who chose greed over family. Then I answered honestly, "I forgave you a long time ago." Her face brightened until I continued. But forgiveness and trust aren't the same thing. The smile disappeared because she finally understood. The inheritance wasn't what they lost that night. The inheritance was just money. What they lost was a seat at my wedding. And that's something no lawyer can ever put back in a will.